United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as I ask for a moment of silence for former Police Lieutenant Bureau Commander Lawrence Corky and former Alderman Ashok Sabnis. May they rest in peace. Thank you. Roll.
Alderman Tobin.
Here.
Alderman Jean-Francois.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderwoman Ray.
Here.
Alderman Kleiner.
Here.
Alderman Green. Alderman Witt.
Here.
Alderman Massey.
Here.
President Rodriguez.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Approval of minutes? So moved.
Second?
That's the November 19th minutes. Motion by Alderman Massey, second by Alderman Witt. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, correspondence.
Good evening. We have a letter this evening. Dear Mayor J.M. DeStefano, I'm writing to let you know about one of your Middletown police officers who helped our granddaughter, Rosalie Cicero, on December 4th, 2024, at Middletown High School. While Rosalie was in her classroom, another student drove her vehicle into Rosalie's parked vehicle. I received a phone call from the police officer, Troya, shield number 1480 of the Middletown Police Department, telling me that our Rosalie was not injured. Also, the other student driver was not injured. After speaking with police officer Troya, our Rosalie told us how caring and kind he was, and to her, and also that Rosalie told us how he used zip ties to secure the damaged front end bumper and quarter panel together so she could drive home safely. Police Officer Troya is a caring and professional police officer and a credit to your police department. Again, we applaud and thank him. In closing, be well, safe, and God bless you and yours. Respectfully, Rocco Cicero.
Okay, received and filed.
That's it.
That's it? Okay. For the good of the city, I would like to call the mayor up. Special recognition.
Yeah, thank you for changing the agenda. So put this item at the head of the agenda. And that,
Had to say it. Yep.
little sarcasm there, right?
Well, understandable.
Understandable. Okay, I would like to invite our Assemblywoman, Aileen Gunther, up so we can recognize her for all her years of service here in the city of Middletown. So tonight, as you know, Assemblywoman Gunther chose not to run for re-election this past year. She's represented the city of Middletown for, I believe, 20 years. And Jake, her husband, late husband, how many? 14 years. So we had a Gunther representing the city of Middletown for the past 34 years. And it's made a big difference in our community. So I wanted to just touch on a few of the, we try to highlight some of the main issues that Aileen worked on directly for our city and the money that she has brought into our community. She has always talked about part of her job is not just to advocate, but to bring back our share here in Middletown. And Aileen certainly has delivered for our city and for our taxpayers. And if you look at this list of accomplishments, the renovation of the senior center, municipal parking lot, courthouse acquisition, construction of the multi-use ball field, walking track, the pavilion, the O&W building restoration, seed money, driving simulator for the police, purchase and installation of surveillance cameras and infrastructure, light poles for downtown, purchase and rehab of the Middletown and New Jersey rail station, the splash pad at Maple Hill Park, the rec center, the senior center, psychiatric center lighting projects, construction of the pedestrian walkway between North Street and Center Street, and the purchase of a vacant parcel next to the O&W that made the O&W station a project, and also advocating for the $4.1 million that's not even listed here of the CDBG grant that's going into the O&W station. Just that small list alone over the last several years has totaled over $8 million. And that money did not come easy. It required someone fighting for us because if it didn't come here, it would have gone to another community. And as you can see on the screen, the projects these are pictures of some of the projects and the amenities that have led to additional quality of life in our community and will, like the O&W station, the M and J station, the Woolslayer Field project, some of the ribbon cuttings that Aileen has attended, the groundbreaking ceremonies where she's advocated for businesses to relocate here in our city, and the courthouse project on South Street. And you can just see the list of accomplishments goes on and on. She also brought in key people into our community that would normally not be here. The upper left picture is Speaker Hasty. I've been in Middletown politics since 1984 in one capacity or another, and I don't recall a Speaker of an Assembly coming into our city or walking our downtown. I'm led by our Assemblywoman to point out and explain the need for additional funding for our community. Well, she did all that. So one of the things we're also going to do tonight is, this is just a draft of a plaque. One of the big projects that we're going to begin, hopefully this spring, is the splash pad, the restoration, or not the replacement of the pool, the swimming pool at Maple Hill Park. And we're going to be replacing that with a splash pad. The splash pad, the total project is going to be about $1.2 million or $1.3 million, 1.2 or 1.3 million, depending upon how the final numbers come in. But about half of that funding is coming directly because of Assemblywoman Gunther. And it wasn't a project that was planned. We were talking about it last year, and she said, what do you need to get it done? And she did. She went out and got the money to get this project done. So in honor of her and her accomplishments over the years, we felt it was appropriate that the last big project that will be funded through her office under her leadership in Albany should be memorialized with a plaque at that site that her name will be forever associated. And we're going to do a nicer plaque than the one that's there, too. So this was just a little wood background, but it's going to be really, really nice. And, of course, this is the splash pad that I know your whole career has been focused on mental health, has been focused on children and recreation, and that's why we selected this site in order to do so. So, in addition, we have myself and Council President Rodriguez, if you'd like to come down. We have a proclamation, and I'll read it. Whereas it is with great appreciation and gratitude that we acknowledge the dedicated public service of New York State Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther, who has represented Middletown and its surrounding communities with unwavering commitment since her election in 2003. And whereas throughout her tenure in the New York State Assembly, Assemblywoman Gunther has been an extraordinary advocate for the city of Middletown, securing vital funding and championing transformative projects that have significantly improved the quality of life for our residents. And whereas Assemblywoman Gunther has been the steadfast friend to the city of Middletown, working collaboratively with local leaders, including the mayor and common council, to ensure the success of numerous initiatives. And whereas her leadership has brought substantial funding and financial investments into the city of Middletown, totaling over $8 million, and I listed the projects before. So today, whereas the tireless efforts of Assemblywoman Gunther have left an indelible mark on our community, creating a legacy of progress, partnership, and prosperity. And whereas, as Assemblywoman Gunther embarks on her well-deserved retirement from public service, we celebrate her many accomplishments and wish her continued happiness, health, and success in all future endeavors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the mayor, myself, and the Common Council, led by Council President Rodriguez, and all members of the City of Middletown Common Council, do hereby proclaim our deepest gratitude and admiration for State Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther, and declare December 17th as Aileen Gunther Day in the City of Middletown. And be it further resolved that this proclamation serve as a testament to her exceptional service, dedication, and friendship to our city, the City of Middletown, and its residents. And with that proclamation, the City of Middletown Day, you get an extra $1 or something. We'll give you a $1 bill or something for buy a cup of coffee with it, right? But
Half a cup.
But the proclamation is nice.
Geez, you're Sheep.
And it also has underneath the key to the city of Middletown.
That's beautiful.
And hopefully you'll, not hopefully, I know you will remember your years of service here fondly, and we certainly will miss you as our representative, and we know you'll always be our friend here. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'll be very quick. You know, for the last 20 years, it was good people like Joe DiStefano and Maria that allowed me to do something that I really loved. When Jacob passed away, you know, was with my children, and I was always behind the scenes with Jacob. I did a lot of the dirty work during elections and things like that, passing out things about him and this, that, and the other thing. And it just came to me one day, then I said, you know what? I'm a registered nurse. I did, a lot of work in the hospital. And I thought, geez, why not me? And it was me. And it was people like Joe DiStefano and Maria and a lot of other people that stood behind me and allowed me to do something that I love. And I'm crazy about the city of Middletown, and I can't thank all of you enough. This has really turned into something really special. People love coming to Middletown, and it's because all of you, and I was so happy to help, but I wasn't the genius behind it. That was Joe and Maria and all the people that work in the city of Middletown. You're doing a great job, and you're doing a great job for your community. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Here's my buck. Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure. Merry Christmas if you celebrate it, and Happy New Year. God bless. Happy holidays.
All right, for the good of the city, anyone would like to address the council, please step forward. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, council. You already know who I am, but for those who don't know me, I'm Jason, and I am from the 4th Ward of Middletown. I was going to thank Eileen Gunther for her service to this community, to our city. Her passion for the city is definitely contagious, and it inspires myself, and I know other community members, to keep uplifting our community. So this is our 9th consecutive meeting tonight, and before I share what I'm about to share, I want you to know that this community keeps coming to these meetings, not because we're petulant, not because we have unlimited time to spare, and not because we want to disrupt this council. We are here because we are horrified by what is happening in Palestine, and we want to work with our local elected representatives to do something about it. You'll be hearing from just 4 more members of our community tonight. We all have different political beliefs, religious affiliations, and even languages that we speak. But the 5 of us speaking tonight are just a small sample of the incredible community that is growing, and a community that will continue to fight for a ceasefire resolution in Middletown, New York. With that, I am proud to introduce Milad Bakla, a Palestinian and Middletownian. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. The mayor previously stated that we do not call for a ceasefire in South Korea, Syria, or Ukraine. However, none of these like what's happening in Gaza. Gaza has been called the largest concentration camp in history, a Holocaust shown live on the large screen. Especially civilian children, women, particularly female children, are not targeted by any of these aggressors. The IGF targets females in a gruesome effort to prevent another generation of Palestinians from being born. I don't see you denouncing Israel annexing additional Syrian territory. Israel has taken over more than 3 times the area of Gaza in a matter of days, while there are courageous warriors who have broken Israel's will. The IGF vents their rage and the helpless children as they lose to the heroes. Israel's strategy has been misinformed, denied, to conceal, to justify the murder of innocent children, to drop bombs that are equivalent to several atomic bombs on our dying planet. Israel comparable to the word black plague. If left unchecked, it will destroy the entire planet. The moment when it consumes us here is fast approaching. I would like to tell you a story I learned in school. In a forest, there was a lion and three bulls, black, red, and white. The lion was hungry, and he wanted to eat, but he knew he couldn't confront the three of them at once. To solve this, he devised a plan to convince the black and red bull that the white bull is a threat. He argued that the black and the red bull, that the white bull color would make them easy target to the hunter. He swayed them and allowed the lion to eat the white bull. Sometimes later, the lion repeated the manipulation, this time convincing the black bull to turn against the red bull. Once again, he was successful. Eventually, the lion became hungry again, and he set his sight to the black bull. The black bull said, "I was eaten the day the white bull was killed." I just want to let you know, half knowledge is more dangerous than no knowledge. We should listen to the international humanitarian organizations like Amnesty International, Action for Peace, and so on. Please snap out of the state of hibernation. We are the bulls in this story. We call for a ceasefire in Palestine because the atrocity taking place, just like the atrocity happened in Nazi Germany. Israel is not only targeting medical staff, aid workers, and journalists, and also their loved ones. The atrocity has been widely documented, one of the most adjudicated by the International Court in modern history. This is not merely war on people. It is war and the future of civilization. It is up to all of us in this room to do our part to stop it. Thank you.
Gonna break things up a little bit here. Sorry. I guess, maybe July, I was here with some other people regarding the warehouse situation in Waiwayanda. And I just wanted to give you a quick update. The group say, Mike Martin, sorry, resident of the city of Middletown. And I got involved in Save Waiwayanda, shut down these warehouses and other projects because of the traffic and what we thought were the effects on Middletown. There's several other people that have been here and support this. So I just want to make you aware, we did put together a little map showing approximately where all these warehouse projects, there's about 10 of them that are either approved or in the stages of approval by the town of Waiwayanda. And also the square footage is about 6 million square feet. And truck traffic at several points is, the most, Route 6 and 17M, we're looking at minimum 2,000 trucks per day right now. So, and it would choke off Middletown. They never took into account Orange Community College for their traffic studies, what happens in Middletown. These traffic studies were done a long time ago. So I just want to make you aware of it. And I know that Mayor DeStefano has been involved in this, and I know several of you have. So just making you aware of it and the rest of the council. That's all I wanted to say. And we have some pamphlets if anybody's interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Charles Lewis. I am a resident of Middletown, 4th Ward. All the information I have for you at this point comes from datausa.io. 15% of the population here, that would be just under 4,500 people, live below the poverty line. The higher the national average, it's higher than the national average, which is at 12.5%. The largest demographics are males aged 35 to 44. The second is females from age 12 to 14. And the third are males from age 18 to 24. Middletown lacks the resources to tend to the homeless community as well as the mental health community And other than the moral argument that should not be forgotten, stopping a genocide, there's another. To fight for the citizens that are here. We are in code blue season, and there's not enough resources to help all the people that need it. Which is why it troubles me that you prefer to only hear Middletown voices. If I was priced out of my home and I was homeless, am I still a Middletownian? The vast majority of people in Middletown who are in need of emergency housing are sent to either Walk Hill or Newburgh. Are they not Middletownians anymore? We all pay tax to the system, and the taxes are here to help us. Our government has sent over $18 billion to Israel, whose national homeless problem is 0.02%. This is also a country that can afford its own universal health care system. I'm calling for my leaders to be America first. With the long history of poverty here, I feel it necessary to say that we cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. And so now I'm calling on you, my leaders, to advocate for me and the rest of the constituents by bringing us the proper resources we need. And when they ask you how you pay for it, you tell them the next $18 billion we are going to send to Israel. Because Israel may be your friend, maybe some people's friends in here, but I'm your Middletown family. I was born here. I was raised here. I worked at the homeless shelter. I did the 311 calls. We don't have the resources. So don't tell me you don't have the muster to stand up and say, hey, listen, we need this for our community. If two rivaling factions in town were having a deadly dispute, the state's first motion would to be de-arming them, because you cannot have peace if they're still shooting. But this simple truth is harder than you make it for death and atrocity in your area. The easier peace can be. That is basic sociology. I've worked with grassroots organizations, and we tried to get rid of the state and federal officials, but they will say the same thing. Our efforts have to start at the local level.
Good evening, council members. My name is Amanda Crump. I live in the 4th Ward in Middletown. Tonight we have heard the council's concerns, and we are making an effort to appease you and work with you. We do not want to cause any tension, and we hope that our actions tonight will open the door to have a broader conversation. We appreciate your efforts in consistently dealing with Middletown business matters, and we have no intentions of disrupting your meetings. We simply ask of you to please send a strong statement to our government officials calling for a ceasefire and recognizing that Palestinian and Jewish lives matter. Many people that are coming from other towns are Jewish and Palestinians that are deeply connected to this issue and want to share their insight and their stories with you, and quite a few are coming from cities that have already passed ceasefire resolutions, which is why they want to help us pass one in our city. We will continue to reach out and to approach our representatives like James Skoufis, Pat Ryan, Kathy Hochul, to name a few, to do what they can to speak up for Palestinian lives. We come to you because we have the privilege to come and speak to you and request a statement on behalf of our city. We really hope to work together and to continue to be able to appease you. I pray that we can mutually respect each other and have a conversation about what can go into the resolution. Following this meeting, we will be reaching out to each of you and hope to work together so that Middletown can be a light in the darkness. Please pay attention to international law and understand that in the future, the American government will not be able to get away with this. You have a chance to be the heroes when people above you, quite frankly, don't have the guts to stand up and instead accept money from Israeli lobbyists like AIPAC. Thank you again for giving us the space to speak, and we look forward to speaking to each of you.
Good evening, council members, mayor. My name is Delia Dupre. I am from the 4th Ward, Middletown resident. And I'm here because I am appalled that we have to go through all of this all the time to get a ceasefire. I am going to read this because it was given to me and I'm going to follow the rules. By passing a ceasefire resolution, it sends a powerful message that the city of Middletown stands for the dignity, the well-being, and preservation of human life. By advocating for the protection of innocent civilians, this council would demonstrate compassion and a commitment to global justice and alignment with universal human rights principles regardless of one's religion or nationality. We absolutely cannot ignore the suffering of innocent civilians in Gaza, Lebanon, and Israel. The violence we are witnessing every day generates strong emotions and different opinions within our own community. Many people here have personal ties to Gaza and Israel or are deeply affected by the ongoing violence. Passing a ceasefire resolution, which is needed, can serve as a unifying act and help alleviate tensions, creating a sense of solidarity within the community where residents of different backgrounds can rally around a common value, peace. You as local leaders can help Middletown stand as a beacon of hope and lead by example. Show that peace begins with the actions of individuals and local communities, which can inspire other communities to join a calling for peace and build momentum for international efforts. Moral leadership is essential in times of crisis, and while we are not experts on foreign policy, and I'm not either that, and cannot solve all the world's problems, we can stand on the side of justice and humanity by aligning ourselves with the principles of international humanitarian law. A ceasefire resolution is not simply a political decision, it is a statement of humanity. Be sure that the choices we make today shapes the world we leave behind for future generations. By passing a ceasefire resolution, it benefits this council by positioning it as a leader and advocate for global peace efforts, reinforcing our values. It's a little bit more, but my time is up. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, Council. My name is Ben Surface. I'm the supervising attorney for the Hudson Valley Justice Center. We serve Orange County and throughout the Mid-Hudson region. Specifically, we practice in Middletown City Court representing tenants facing eviction. I'm here today to encourage the City of Middletown to join the growing number of villages, towns, and cities throughout the state who have opted into the good cause eviction law. I've had the opportunity to exchange some communication with the mayor, and I know that this is something that the council is considering. And so I'm here today to not only voice my support for moving that process forward and bringing a bill to the council, but to specifically rise in support of drafting the strongest version of the bill possible. Across the state, as towns and municipalities have opted in, every single town that has chosen to opt into this law has defined a small landlord as a landlord who owns more than one residential rental unit. The significance of this definition of a small landlord is that it makes it so that tenants don't have to worry about their landlords using LLC loopholes to avoid coverage under this law. One thing we see already in housing court across Orange County, whether it's in the City of Middletown or City of Newburgh and into Dutchess County, is that landlords, as common practice, regardless of this law, will own their properties under separate LLCs. In New York State, there is no publicly available database to look up LLC ownership, making it almost impossible for particularly pro se tenants to know whether their landlord, the LLC that owns their building, is owned by somebody who also happens to be a member of another LLC. And so setting the small landlord definition above one creates a loophole through which existing corporate landlords and landlords who are interested in avoiding coverage under the law can exploit this loophole to avoid providing the protections to their tenants. I'll just take the last bit of my time to add some anecdotes here. So our office represents tenants in City of Middletown Court. We are here multiple days every week. And what I think, sometimes when people think about eviction, they think it's all, it's non-payment of rent, it's a tenant who's breaking the lease. And what I want to make clear for you is that every week we see tenants who are being evicted for what we call a no-cause holdover. The landlord has given them a 30-day notice or a 60-day notice or a 90-day notice in which they have not alleged any violation of the lease, any unpaid rent, but under the current status quo of the law, that tenant has no defenses against eviction. So while they have abided by the lease, paid the rent, they are still subject to housing instability, even though they've done everything they could to be a good tenant. And so this law puts a very mild level of regulation on landlords to make sure that those kind of evictions can't happen and to keep the rent increases that tenants are forced to bear within a reasonable threshold. So I look forward to working with the council in the future to answer any questions you may have, and my colleague is here to add some more information. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Council. My name-
Hold on a second. Go ahead, Alderman
I
Johnson.
just would like to, as a point of information to the speaker, I think we're on record as of the last meeting that we acknowledge the one unit, we acknowledge the LLCs, we're in correspondence with the organization. Everything you just said is already in our data bank. We know how many hundreds there were. We're waiting to disaggregate how many were good cause and how many were just non-payment. So I just wanted to be clear, we're ahead of this curve, and to say it every week or every other week, it's getting a little bit frustrating because we're on record that we're doing this. The administration is showing, I think, and I think the council agrees, due diligence in looking at the facts of the case, as it were, and what are the pitfalls of various types of laws. But we got the one unit. I said this last week. We got the one unit, we got the LLC. Everything you said is knowledge to this council. I wanted to be clear that you know that. Thanks.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
All right. Good evening, Council. Thank you so much for hearing our remarks and engaging not only with these housing issues, but our organization. My name is Allie Duttinger. I work for the Hudson Valley Justice Center. Echoing and building off of what Ben said, I currently represent tenants primarily in Dutchess County. And I would just want to tell a couple stories of tenants that have good cause and tenants that don't. So one of the things that's near and dear to my heart is repair issues. Up until 2024, tenants actually could not take their landlord to court if they were having a repair issue, despite the warranty of habitability being the law of the land for decades in New York State. It's been a right and down in New York City for decades, and we're, I don't know how many days into the year we are, but that's how many days we've had this right. So I represented a tenant in southern Ulster County who had a fire a few units over from his. It knocked out his electric, and we were able to, through the court process, get it on. He got a rent refund for a month he was displaced. And I lay in bed at night and I think about this tenant because there's nothing that protects him right now from the landlord doubling his rent. So you wouldn't know that based on the data, based on the observations that I have. I'm in courts. There's no way to know that that's a good cause case when we get into the courts, when we pull apart the eviction filings, because when his rent doubles because he complained about his conditions, he can't afford that. And I'm going to tell you about a tenant in Eastern Dutchess that I represent right now, and her landlord and her are just in a mess. There is absolutely disgusting mold in this bathroom, and the tenant started withholding rent, which is her right under the law, and she's entitled to an abatement of that rent and a repair. But what the landlord has already said through her attorney to us is that we're going to terminate that lease. So she's going to pay all this money. She's disabled. She has nowhere to go. This was intending to be a forever apartment for her, at least for a long time. But I want to tell you about a tenant that I repped with some paperwork today, that I filed today, that hopefully will be in court later in the week. She lives in a jurisdiction with good cause eviction, a building with 3 units. And since last Wednesday, I kid you not, she's had no heat or hot water. Take that in. Okay, so we filed, and I did it fearlessly for her. And she was fearless about it because she knows that the landlord cannot turn around and terminate that tenancy for no reason. And I got to look her in the eyes and say, I've got your back. The law has your back, and the council has your back by passing this protection. So I I guess I just say that there isn't going to be perfect data. I think that's going to reflect what you want to see. I think that this is numbers are numbers, but stories are stories. And I would just encourage this council to know that for every day that passes, more and more tenants are receiving increases, receiving terminations. Rochester tonight actually opted in as well at the single unit. And I also, thanks to our wonderful office manager, I have some flyers for our office. Some half of visit, one side is English, one side Spanish. There's some Know Your Rights. Please take a few, give them to your constituents. If you're a tenant, you know a tenant, you love a tenant, please take some if I can leave them on the table up here.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Erin Cross, Second Ward resident, and I am a proud Jewish member of the Middletown community. For months, I have watched Common Council meeting after meeting be hijacked by groups, some whose members aren't even Middletown residents, spreading blood libel and misinformation disguised as wanting a true ceasefire to the Israel-Gaza conflict. While I commend the idea of a peaceful resolution to the conflict, I have yet to hear any Rally Middletown speaker or supporter mention a single word about innocent Israelis kidnapped and brutally murdered, or the hostages that have been treated savagely, and savage is an understatement, simply because they were Israeli or Jewish. They were taken captive by a terrorist group, Hamas, on October 7th, 2023. Nor have I heard any of them hold Hamas accountable for their savage actions, including rape and torture, yet condemn Israel for defending themselves and their people. This is an injustice to humanity. The fact is, there was a ceasefire right up until the moment Hamas terrorists entered the kibbutzim and the Nova Music Festival, murdering over 1,200 innocent Israelis. Make no mistake, war is bloody. The war was not one that Israel asked for or started. I actually heard a gentleman at the last meeting on December 3rd, 2024, refer to Hezbollah, a Lebanese jihadist group, as the party of God. Check it. The time marker is 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 8 seconds, which was just today designated a terrorist organization by Switzerland. And just today, a grave of over 100,000 victims of Assad was discovered. Where was your outrage then? Nope, just Israel. I didn't respond to you, so please don't respond to me.
Let her speak. Point of order.
On October 7th, my cousin was serving in the IDF as this massacre unfolded. Other cousins residing in Israel today feared for their lives that day and continue to do so. And another cousin whose stepsister's friends were murdered at the Nova Music Festival. Beyond the fact that it has been brought up week after week by the Common Council that a ceasefire is a federal issue, not a local issue, I speak for myself and family that as a Jew who grew up and continue to reside in Middletown, was a member of Temple Sinai, and am now raising my child in the Jewish faith in this community, I will not stay silent. Thank you, Mayor DeStefano, Common Council President Rodriguez, and fellow council members, for week after week discerning fact from fiction, reiterating that this group and speakers are here just for the publicity of a televised council meeting, and for your unwavering support of the Jewish community.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Warda, a proud Palestinian American mother and a member of the Orange County community. I have children attending Middletown College, and many of the attendees here today have been to numerous city council meetings, but Middletown holds a special place in my heart as I spend a lot of time and resources here. I stand before you today with a heavy heart, compelled to share the story of Khalid Nibhan, a grandfather from Gaza who's often described his granddaughter as the soul of my soul. This phrase speaks to the deepest bond, an intimate, unbreakable connection between loved ones. It's a way of saying that Reem, his granddaughter, wasn't just cherished, she was the essence of his being, the light of his life. He dedicated life to helping others in need, feeding starving children, offering hope in times of despair. Last November, Reem, 3 years old, was killed by Israeli forces. As she laid lifeless in his arms, the grandfather whispered, "Soul of my soul," to her. And just this Monday, the grandfather who spent his life spreading love and hope was also killed in the bombardment. He is now among the countless innocent victims on the ongoing genocide. Reem and her grandfather's death are part of over 45,000 dead. 45,000 Palestinians have been killed, with more than 106 other thousands wounded. These lives, these human beings, are not just thousands of miles away. In fact, Palestinians from Gaza are in New York, which brings me to Sarah, a courageous 18-year-old who was brought to New York to treat her severe burns that she sustained from a bomb struck by her home, killing her 2 brothers. 60% of her body was burned, and her dreams of finishing high school and going to college was shattered. I drove 3 hours to visit her, hoping to offer some comfort. But when I arrived, she didn't want to come out. She was too self-conscious about how she looked. And at that moment, I realized I had no right to be upset. Sarah's life and dreams were torn apart from unimaginable grief and trauma. The United States is 100% responsible for destroying her life and murdering her family. Today, I stand before you to ask Middletown City Council to call for an immediate ceasefire and an end to the violence and genocide in Gaza. And as a community, we have the power to stand up for humanity. We have to raise our voices and demand for peace, for the innocent children and families suffering every day.
Good evening, President Rodriguez, members of the Common Council, Your Honor, the Mayor. I just wish to address an issue that's of local interest, that may be of interest as well to the members of our Common Council. I do commend Alderman Johnson and all the members of this body for being proactive in your leadership, whether it's been the issue of creating municipal ID, I know that Alderman Kleiner worked on, or the eviction. It's great to see that we have a legislative body here that's not reactive but proactive when it comes to the concerns of our local community. I want to address the issue of how we could fight the evil of cancer right here in our backyards. This past year, one of our most interesting or colorful voices of Congress, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, went silent. A native New Yorker by birth, Sheila Jackson Lee served 30 years with distinction on behalf of her Dallas district, leading the fight against domestic violence, for criminal justice reform, and sponsored the law making Juneteenth a holiday, a celebration that's very dear to our Middletown community. On June the 2nd, 2024, Congresswoman Jackson Lee revealed that she will be undergoing treatment for pancreatic cancer. And within little over a month, July 19, 2024, she was gone. Testament to how this tragic disease respects neither age, title, or influence. When it comes to the battle against cancer, we are all in it together. President Biden pledged to dedicate his presidency and greater federal funding to the fight against cancer. But in the meantime, there's much we could do here at the local level. And I would encourage our municipal government, in collaboration with our local Middletown, medical community, to see whether we could bring to some of our local community events, whether it be the farmers market, community fairs. Sometimes the local hospitals or medical organizations do have mobile units that bring free testing for different kinds of cancer. And we could bring that here to our community for these special occasions that we have, especially during the summer months. We could very well help save lives, making our community a lifesaver community. And I think a lot of these services are free of charge. And I think working together, we can make a difference and save many of our residents through prevention and education. So I do encourage our legislative body and our mayor, whose leadership has always made a great difference for our city, to look into this, and hopefully we could take a bite out of the evil of cancer right here in our backyard. Thank you.
Good evening. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. These words are written on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Council, I want to thank you for listening to your residents, because you're civil servants, you're public servants, you serve your community, so it is your job to listen to these residents as many times as they come about the same issue over and over again. You signed up for these jobs. You ran campaigns. Do you get paid as well? Thank you for listening. I hope that you continue to listen. And I specifically want to thank Mr. Kleiner, Mr. Witt, Mr. Massey, Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. McCormack, Mr. Tobin, Mr. Jean-Francois, and Mr. Johnson for giving these people your full attention and not being on your phones. Thank you for listening to these people. Thank you for serving your community. Oh, and thank you, Mayor, because you also weren't on your phone this time. Oh. That's a really wild thing to admit, but thank you. So ultimately, you know, I'm a social worker. I work with unaccompanied youth who cross the southern border. These kids are escaping some of the worst trauma you can imagine. Some of the kids that I work with are from the Southwest Asia, North Africa region, including countries like Afghanistan and Egypt. Everybody's suffering worldwide, and it's at the hands of the U.S. And I know you watch the news, and I know you're informed about what's going on, and I know you see people crying. Let me say something. Nobody deserves to be mourning the loss of their loved ones. That also means that every human life is valued the same. I hope that you all believe and understand that one Israeli life is not equal to 10,000 Palestinian lives. Please listen to your constituents. Please continue to be the global citizens that you are. Again, I see that Ukrainian flag in that hallway. You do get involved in global issues, especially when it's about democracy, about human rights, about serving your people. Serve your people. Have a meeting to talk about this resolution. Look at what other municipalities have done. Dedicate the time, because they aren't going away. You aren't either. Talk. Be a model of the kind of civility that we need right now. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Amir Remkasoon. I'm a proud Middletown graduate. I'm also a citizen of Middletown in the 3rd Ward. Thank you, Alderman Johnson, and thank you, Alderwoman Ray. I just want to speak on the frustration of going to these meetings and understanding that, yes, we do have a humanitarian crisis, and I do want to apologize in advance. This isn't necessarily an address to address the Common Council. It is to address the public that speaks on these issues. But this is a humanitarian crisis on both sides, might I add. But this is not an issue for the city of Middletown. Middletown cannot do anything about these issues. I am a student studying political science and international relations, and let me tell you, you are supposed to go to your congressman for these issues. You are supposed to go to your senator. The city of Middletown is not going to be able to make any kind of significant difference in the outcome of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Those issues lie with higher power. You cannot come and berate our councilmen and single out people on our council and claim to be here respectfully. And also, I'd like to note the hypocrisy of only talking about one side of this issue and also denying other humanitarian crises. To speak about the crises in Syria and other nations not being equivalent, how dare we compare killing and murder and genocide? That is absolutely egregious. And let me reiterate, if you have these issues, go to your congressman, go to your senator. It does not lie with the city of Middletown. And to now address the Common Council, thank you for your patience and thank you for giving me a platform.
And congratulations on your 4.0. Mayor?
Maria, can you go to the to the second set of slides. This document, well, first, let me just comment on the ridiculousness of this being the 9th meeting. And again, I think it's within the power of the Common Council to do what other communities have done when people abuse the process, that people at home, some people have come to our meetings and had to leave early, that we're looking to conduct Middletown business, which the Middletown Common Council should be doing, have not been able to stay because people work, people have other responsibilities, and to sit here for 9 meetings in a row and listen to people tell us that we're not listening to our constituents. Our 30,000 plus constituents, by the way, are not represented by the handful of Middletown residents that come here, along with the numerous people from Beacon, Chester, Monroe. My friend from Bloomingburg is here tonight, but he didn't speak, thankfully. To be said that we're ignoring suffering, that what they're doing is a unifying act. I don't find it very unifying, especially since I think, Rick, the last count was over 7,500 emails that we have received in opposition to what this group is requesting, and that we will be forwarding to them upon their request through a Freedom of Information request, that they're appalled by the lack of action, that we lack resources for homelessness. How does anybody with any knowledge of the city of Middletown whatsoever, and I think he said he was a lifelong resident who volunteered, have the nerve to come up here and say that we are not doing enough for the homeless? Middletown is the home to the homeless shelter of the county at the former psychiatric center grounds. We are also a community that supports and funds the warming center in a city-owned building. It is such nonsense to hear this group of people come up over and over and over, begin the whole process with lies, and then when confronted, each time they're confronted, they double down on lies. I think the first speaker tonight, I think once again, has represented himself to be a Middletown resident. He's not a Middletown resident. Don't come up here and say you're a Middletown resident. You're not a Middletown resident.
Point of order.
What?
Point of order now. Point of order now.
Let's go forward to why do these people come here in such a, quote, unifying way? Because they didn't have the brains last time to take all their documents with them. At the last meeting, in the back of the room, on the chair, was this little document that you see up on the screen. And with this document read, well, on the right is there you go, Maria, right there. It reads, these are the instructions that they are given and handed out prior to coming into our Common Council meetings. December 3rd, 2024, Middletown City Council meeting. So they're just meeting here. All these interested Middletown area residents are just meeting here by chance. Important, please prioritize Middletown residents speaking first in case public comment is shut down early. Important, if you live in Middletown, be sure to say that when introducing yourself to the council. If you don't live in Middletown, here's the interesting part. Connect yourself in some way. How many times have we heard that? I go shopping at Walmart. My kids go to college. I do this, I do that. It's all part of the act. And the act is because of that TV camera right up there. How you shop, you work here, you were born here, have family here. Well, so do we. So do the people at home. So do the people who have business to conduct for the city of Middletown. They opened again with a lie. The lie is that this is an orchestrated event nationally, not locally, nationally, by the Democratic Socialists of America. This is the draft resolution that was sent to me. Are we going to have order?
Point of order.
Not a point of order.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Are we ready? Okay. Now, the Democratic Socialists of America, they were, again, not bright enough to not send out this email that came to me with the exact resolution and directions on how to approach communities like Middletown. Many of them haven't even been to their own communities. But when they were confronted, can you please bring order to this audience here, please?
You need to stop talking. We didn't interrupt you. Please stop talking. Point of order. Point of order.
Clear the room.
This was an orchestrated event. They came to their first two meetings and lied. They continue to lie. They send out directions on how to come here and what to do. And it's all with the intent to hijack these common council meetings, to bring attention to an issue that has nothing to do with the city of Middletown. We all have our individual opinions about foreign policy. I've said over and over why the Ukrainian flag is down here, and I'm not going to say it again. But I don't have to defend myself to these people that come in here and try to take control of city business when we're elected to do city business. I have people that are at home now. I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight about the no parking for the snow emergency, the snow alert the other night, in which we gave out about 25 tickets. So people should be aware that we are now issuing tickets if you're not going to follow the snow alerts, and to encourage people to sign up for the snow alert. I wanted to talk about the 11 King Street, that we're closing on that this week with a developer that's going to build 15 apartments. Hopefully 20% of them, or maybe more, affordable under the state guidelines. We want to talk about the purchase of the M and NJ rail station, an economic development project that is on the corner of Railroad and East Main Street. Things that people in Middletown want to know. We want to talk about the Paramount Theater, the successful shows that we've been having, the holiday season, the shows that have been having at the Paramount Theater. Instead, we have people surrounding the downtown Christmas tree, altering the lyrics to holiday and Christmas music to play their little game and come here and entertain, which they're trying to do on the television camera. I once again call upon the council to consider doing what other communities have done. This is not being bullied. That you have issues on the agenda of the city of Middletown, and I think their advocate, Mr. Kleiner, has even spoken in favor of this. If it's an agenda item for the meeting, feel free to speak on it prior to the votes. If it's a non-agenda item, like this issue is, that is tying up meetings week after week after week, and as they said tonight, will continue to tie up meetings week after week after week, then we have an obligation to the residents of the city of Middletown to push that speech to the end of the meeting so that people at home, if they so choose, can turn off the television, change the channel, do whatever they like, but at least they got their money's worth out of their local elected officials and had their issues addressed. They know if their taxes are going up, their taxes are going down, services are being provided, and answers to the questions that they ask, and that is our responsibility. You have an issue with Pat Ryan, call Pat Ryan, call Chuck Schumer, call Gillibrand, send your letters to the White House, protest all you want on the corner of Carpenter Avenue in not Carpenter, 211 in whatever the hell the name of the street is. I don't know my Wallkill that much as I'm like the Bloomingburg guy, right? I'm getting a little confused. But the idea is these people are in Middletown. Middletown people are the 30,000 plus people that are out here. Those are the people that are calling Massey, Witt. I don't know if they're calling Kleiner. I'm sure you're hearing from them. All of you, they're calling me. They're sending letters, emails to us. They're telling us, stop this nonsense, and I hope the council will stop the nonsense. Thank you.
Okay. Remarks of department heads, economic development.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to touch upon, yes, we've been having a lot of successful shows at the Paramount, a great Christmas season in our city and our downtown. And this weekend, we have a few other great events, movie A Christmas Story, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Christmas with the New York Tenors. So MiddletownParamount.com, check us out, see what's going on, and as we wrap up our holiday season. And I just want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and menorah lighting, Sunday, December 29th, right at Run for Downtown Park, and that's going to be at 5 o'clock. This is in conjunction with Temple Sinai, so I hope to see you guys there. I'll send out the reminders. We've already posted, and that's all I have for this evening.
Any questions for Maria?
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. DPW Commissioner?
Good afternoon, Common Council, Mayor. The reservoir levels, as you know, we're still consider ourselves in a drought condition. We are at 84%. We've been pumping nonstop from our emergency sources. And we were able to bring our storage from 71% to 84 right now, obviously with the rain helping, as well as the pumping. The pumping is quite an expensive operation. We have to man the pump. It's a huge diesel pump, and it has to be manned 24 hours a day whenever we have water to pump, because we have to maintain minimum outflow from the stream that we're pumping from, and so on. So it's expensive, but there is no really price on water. Whatever water is worth, whatever you have to pay to get it. The mayor was going to talk about the city court. We signed the contracts today with the 4 contractors, the GC, the HVA, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing, 4 contracts. So they're going to be starting the work by the end of this week, and they're going to push forward throughout until the end of next year, where they have to complete the project. Again, that's repurposing the federal courthouse to become 2 city courts within that building, and the city court will move out of here and to move over to South Street. Design work for the 24-inch water main, finished water main replacement has started with Barton and LaJudas. The design work for the replacement of the 24-inch raw water line from Kench down to Shawangunk has started as well, and that's going to be replaced by 36-inch pipe. And that's all I have to report to you. If you have any questions for me.
Any question for Jacob? Alderman Kleiner?
Thank you. Commissioner, I just want to thank you. I had to call you on a Saturday for an issue with the Y and the swimming pool draining and the neighbors, and you went over there right away, and so thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alderman Tobin?
Just to remind the public, you can put out 2 bins after the holidays, right? If you have garbage.
Yes,
recycling bin.
after Christmas, you can use recycling blue cart, and you can put municipal solid waste. You can put garbage in there just after Christmas for that one time. Right, Mayor? We're still doing that, right?
Okay, thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you.
Police Chief?
Good evening. Just to expand on the mayor's comments about parking, the overnight parking, we did enforce it this last snowstorm. Additionally, we continued enforcement into the daytime hours for the vehicles that were left parked on the road that interfered with the snow removal. So just as a reminder, it's not just the overnight parking during the winter events, it's removing the vehicles from the road during the daytimes to allow snow removal as well. Otherwise, it creates havoc, and you get complaints. You call us that you want us to do something as cars are snowed in and plowed in and whatnot. Yesterday, unfortunately, we dealt with a shots fired incident on a snow day. But the good part is that the members of the Middletown Police Department did an amazing job. Within a few moments after the incident, had 3 individuals in custody, 3 juveniles, and recovered 2 illegally possessed handguns. The dedication and the work that went into yesterday's event, outstanding by my staff. Just the collaboration, the knowledge, and the willingness and drive to really push forward and find these individuals very quickly. So very proud of them. They've done a great job with that, as they've done in the last several incidents that were very similar. So those 3 people have been charged appropriately, and we'll see what happens from here with that situation. Thank God no one was injured. We're very fortunate with that once again. We held a Leadership Academy graduation here in this room last Tuesday evening. It was an amazing event. Sergeant Welch, once again, outstanding job. She shines in the job that she does, connects with the youth, connects with the community, does some really amazing work, and I appreciate the support from the council. I know some of you attended and have attended ones in the past, and we definitely appreciate that partnership and that commitment and support. Assemblywoman Gunther, I know she left, but just want to publicly thank her for all the support that she's provided us as the Middletown Police Department and as the Orange County Police Chiefs Association. She's been nothing but gracious to us as well during her tenure. And then I would just like to thank the council for all of your support throughout the year. You're always there for us. You support the things that we would like to implement, the programs that we start with both publicly supporting us, financially supporting us, so we greatly appreciate it. We cannot be as successful as we are without your support, so thank you for that. And just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And if you have anything for me.
Any questions for the chief?
Thank you.
Chief, the 25 tickets was all that day and night?
No, 25 was just the overnight. We continued during the day once we realized that there were still some cars that were not addressed and were being plowed around and covered in snow still.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Superintendent of Recreation.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to thank Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther for all that she's done for the Recreation Department and securing all the funds. And we are definitely looking forward to the splash pad and getting that project moving. And I'm really excited about the December 17th, making it a paid day off for city workers.
You get $1.
To keep an eye out for the ice skating rink. We have lots of winter events and activities going on at the ice skating rink. We just had a great candy cane hunt and a opportunity for Santa visited and doing family photos there. So definitely keep an eye out for more events throughout the winter there at the ice skating rink. Any questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
City Clerk.
Good evening. I just want to take this opportunity to thank several people who joined us at the Mayor's Youth Council last week. We were taking a focus last week on owning and running your own business here in the city of Middletown, and we were excited to welcome Juan from the Taco Factory, Art Vicky from Art Vicky Creations, and Fred Williams from 6 West Barbershop. They came and they spoke to our youth about the challenges and successes that are available when you own your own business, and I think it opened up some of our youth's eyes to the sometimes not so glamorous world of owning their own business. So thank you guys for coming out. I'd also just like to ask the council on your resolutions tonight, resolution number 275-24. We were hoping to have a letter from the Orange County Planning Department that would allow that to go forward this evening. It did not come through. So I'm going to ask somebody from the council to make a motion to table that at the appropriate time.
Okay, and our regular meeting in January is going to move to the 7th. We're not doing it on the 2nd, so we'll be back on the 7th for the council. Any question for the city clerk? All right. Public hearings and grievances?
Good evening. We have a public hearing this evening. Notice is hereby given that the City of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, on or as near to 7:30 p.m. as possible in the Common Council Chambers at 16 James Street to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on the proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 475, creating a new Section 475-27.1 of the General Regulations, which adopts a minimum square footage for all new single-family dwellings constructed in the City of Middletown. Any and all persons wishing to be heard will be given the opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed zoning amendment. The complete proposed zoning amendment is available in the office of the Common Council Clerk, City Hall at 16 James Street, Room 12, and on our city's website. By order of the Common Council, Pete McCormick.
Okay, at this time, the public hearing is open. Jacob, is there anything to add?
No, just to clarify, it's requiring the minimum size of a single-family dwelling to be 1,200 square feet, because many times at the building department, we get hit with, I want to build something 800 square feet, 1,000 square feet, and we don't have anything in our code to specify the minimum size. So this one specifies it, and it will be even for everybody.
Okay. Anyone who would like to talk about this? Any council member? Do I have a motion to close? Motion by Massey, seconded by Alderman Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, another public hearing.
Good evening. Notice is hereby given that the City of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, on or as near to 7:30 p.m. as possible in the Common Council Chambers, 16 James Street, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on 3 proposed 2-lot subdivisions at 166-178 Seaward Avenue, 57-67 Dorothea Dix Drive, and 122 Dorothea Dix Drive, and 15 Ashley Avenue. Any all persons wishing to be heard will be given the opportunity to speak for or against the proposed subdivisions. The complete proposed application and map of the property for the subdivisions are available in the office of the Common Council Clerk, 16 James Street, and on the city website by order of the Common Council.
It's time, the public hearing is now open. Do we have anybody that wants to brief us? Why are we doing the subdivision?
This is the properties that were acquired from the state of New York. The subdivision at this point will be the lower entrance to Mount Hagen. You'll know as you go in, there are 2 large homes there. They're in pretty bad condition. We are subdividing them, splitting them up, so we'll be able to put them out for requests for concepts and proposals for those 2. The other would be the Kleiner Building and Tuckerman building in the powerhouse and the 54 building, which is behind the nurses' quarters. We are going to be keeping the 54 building with the property behind it. The Kleiner building will go with the property that goes down the hill, down, I think it's Dorothea Dix, I'm pretty sure it is. And then the Tuckerman building will also be freestanding, and the power plant will be freestanding with some property behind it. So the power plant will be retained by the city. That is the most difficult property for redevelopment. Our plans are to transfer Tuckerman and Kleiner, of course, with your approval, to the Fayetien College for college purposes. And the 54 building at some point, we haven't put together a development plan, will be out for a request for proposals and concepts again for sale. And then future changes will also be including the Emma Street warehouse building. The city is retaining some of the garages. We've already begun renovating them for police storage, for fire police, and also other emergency service related activities on the campus. So that's what we're proposing. I'm sure at some point you will have a vote on whether these properties are transferred to Fayetien. Hopefully they will be. I think we've seen the job they have done with the other properties that were transferred to them with development goals. And so that's it in a nutshell, in case you have any questions.
When they're transferred, they'll have timelines, correct?
Yes. Well, that's not part of this, but yes, they'll have development goals put in place, similar to what we did with 84 Dorothea Dix. I don't know if anybody's been into that building lately, but that was a building that 10, 15 years ago we thought we were going to tear down. And the building is beautiful. So along with Woodman Hall, the former nurses' quarters, et cetera.
Alderman Witt?
Yeah, forgive me if this was out there. The 2 properties you mentioned on Manhagan, are they the 2 properties below where the fence goes back in there? Is that part of this?
No, it's the first entrance off of Monhagen. You'll bear left as you go in. You can bear left or you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have a house there that's privately owned. I believe that might still be RSS. Yeah.
Okay, it's not either the four that are in the front?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't front Monhagen. They front
Okay.
Seward, I believe.
Okay.
Is the name of the street.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Those 2 vacant homes.
Correct. They're in pretty bad shape. Jacob did do an evaluation on them. We believe they're structurally sound. They do require a lot of work. And, the zoning up there is light industrial in some parts and primarily commercial and office redevelopment, educational, but that'll be addressed when we do the request for concepts and proposals.
Okay. Anyone else? Any council members? We have a motion to close. Alderman Massey, do I have a second? Alderman Ray? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, petitions and complaints. Reports of Alderman Tobin.
Just like to congratulate Assemblywoman Gunther on retirement. She's really been transformative to the city. All the projects that she's shepherded through and worked on to help us out. I also know, and it's not just Middletown, she helped Sullivan County out a lot. And then in the mental health field, she's been tremendously transformative, and also in nursing, she helped pass through the safe staffing bill that limits ratios of nurses to like maximum amounts in hospitals so they don't get overworked. She also safe handling bill. Nurses get actually hurt more on the job than construction workers because they have to handle dead weight of bodies and they're more likely to get injured. So, you know, you need safe staffing ratios and safe handling, and she's been a champion of that. So she's been all around tremendous legislature, and we're lucky to have her. And I'd just like to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. Have a good night.
Alderman John Fitzwater?
Nothing this evening.
Alderman Johnson?
Sure. So, there's a thing with people who like birds, and they put up bird feeders, and they would like the birds to eat the food that they put in the bird feeder. And if you go on YouTube or on Facebook, there's lots of devices to keep squirrels from coming up and eating the food out of the bird feeder. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the bird people don't like the squirrel people, but they find them to be a little bit of a nuisance, and they would like to preserve the bird food for the target audience for which the food was purchased. Hold that thought. I would also like to talk to the residents of the 3rd Ward, best ward. Earlier this evening, one of the speakers called my colleagues' diligence and job performance into question. The two of us have served here for approximately 10 years, give or take. I think we have engendered the trust and confidence of the members of the 3rd Ward. We've tried to maintain their quality of life in the 3rd Ward in the city of Middletown. We've tried to represent their interests in the 3rd Ward in the city of Middletown. And we advocate for them when we think advocacy is necessary, as in the case of the Orange Terrace project. I stand behind my colleagues' job performance, due diligence, and dutifulness of purpose. I would like to call into attention, well, let's look at this from an anthropological point of view. Yes, there's a handout. I'm going to read the whole thing, Mayor, with all due respect. Important, please prioritize Middletown residents speaking first in case public comment is shut down. Important, if you live in Middletown, be sure to say that when introducing yourself to the council. If you don't live in Middletown, connect yourself in some way, how you shop, work, born, have family, etc. Important, do not form a long line behind the first speaker. There should only be 1 to 3 people on line. Too many people at once causes the council to get overwhelmed. I'm going to pause for a moment for some vocabulary. One of the speakers earlier this evening in her remarks, I would say she's part of the leadership team, used the word appease twice. What's the definition of appease? To pacify or placate. What's the definition of placate? Make someone less angry or hostile. I'm so glad that you think you need to appease me. Back to the document. Pick up an agenda sheet to the left, to your left, so you know where you are, because you may be only here for the first time, as you're walking into the chamber so you can see the format and the timeline. The bathroom is on the 3rd floor to the right. The water fountain is located on the 2nd floor, in case you're coming here for the first time. Thank you, I wrote that. When you are speaking, point of order, thank you very much. When you are speaking, who's the wise guy? Could you raise your hand? Thank you, I'm not surprised. When you are speaking, there is a 3-minute timer on the wall to the left. Use this to gauge how much time you have left to speak so you don't get cut off. This is exemplary of what we're dealing with. With the amount of people coming to speak, the meeting could take up to 2 hours. Don't feel obligated to stay if you need to get home to your family. However, you may want to stick around. The meeting is broadcast live on Channel 20 and will be posted to the YouTube account in the next several days. It's a typical flow of the meeting as we get to speak, then the mayor, then the council. However, that may change tonight as the council has considered restructuring the order of the meeting due to high turnout. Please do your best to remain silent during the meeting. Zionists may try to spread racist tropes as an attempt to cause chaos and shut down public comment. Remain calm and don't let it deter our movement. And then there's a logo that says Rally Middletown on it. So it seems to me, and I'm just have my own opinion, which I'm entitled to apparently, that the leadership has gone to the Pied Piper School of Management. What do I mean by that? Well, they proudly state they've been here 9 times and they'll keep coming here. But they also say their mission is to raise public awareness to their cause. There are 340 million people that live in the United States of America. So to the members of the 3rd Ward, whom we're trying to serve effectively, I'd like you to join me in asking yourself, why are we perseverating on 8 people in 1 town, in 1 county, in 1 state? And why are we being strong-armed that if you don't agree with us, we'll keep coming here and saying the same thing over and over and over again? Why is that? Is it because there's a camera? Is it because they're being told what to do? Do they need new leadership? Should they decide to look at 20 other municipalities in the county of Orange? Well, what is the goal? Is the goal to bring their cause to public awareness? Or is their goal to come to the same 8 people every 2 weeks for 9 meetings to say exactly the same things over and over again? Why don't you write us and tell us what you think? Thank you very much.
Alderman Ray.
Good evening. Well, to our speaker who so eloquently tried to call me out, try to explain to this council what our job is, allow me to explain to you what our job is. I was conducting city business as I sat here as you attempted to videotape me over my shoulder by fielding the messages from my constituents as you approach the podium to once again take over their meeting. That is what I was responding to on my telephone, the anger of the people who live here in this city, who have elected myself and Alderman Johnson to the role of Alderman of the 3rd Ward, and their frustration of not getting their information as they sit meeting after meeting and listen to the same thing again and again. And to sit at this podium and say thank you for being respectful and listening to me when you yourselves have been disrespectful and rude at every meeting you have attended. Every person at that podium who does not agree with what you have to say, there is commentary, there is sniggering, there is laughter, and then the mayor speaks. The mayor of this city deserves the respect and time at that podium to speak uninterrupted without a peanut gallery of response, the same to every other alderman who has spoken when you don't wholeheartedly agree. This is not what we're here to do. It is not our job to listen to the residents of Port Jervis and Monroe and Orange County, which is our new format of not admitting that we don't live here in Middletown, to listen to what you have to say. Because the residents that I speak for, they are frustrated and they have had enough. And that is what is on my phone while I sit at this meeting week after week. Last time, you speak on how you keep coming in. Last meeting, by the time we got to speak as a body, there were 4 of you left. 4. It was 10 p.m. Everyone had gone home because you had gotten your camera time and you were done here. And you left. So you're not here for city business. You're not here to find out what kind of business we're going to conduct at the end of the meeting. You're not here to see if you get that resolution you want. You're here because the cameras are on, which is why we're holding up our signs and taking our pictures. This is enough is enough. We are not a free PR place for your group. We are not. This is where we conduct City of Middletown business, and I'm frustrated, and I will say it with my whole chest, and you can try to videotape my notes, you can read them, and the messages from my constituents. Enough is enough. Your behavior in this chamber is absolutely reprehensible and disrespectful to everyone else in the room that's not with you. How dare you come in here and act that way? And shake your finger at us and wag your finger at how we behave. This body responded to your request months ago. We will not change our mind because you continue to line up at that podium. Your answer is your answer. And yes, you are being petulant. And yes, you are behaving like toddlers because you're not getting the answer you want and you're stomping your feet and yelling until the answer is changed. And we're still speaking while someone else is speaking again. Proving my point. And here we go. So I'm done. So yeah, there's your answer. You've gotten it.
Close to out of control, Mr. President.
Completely.
Chief, we're going to start, if the comments keep continuing, we're going to stop this, all right? You're not going to be in here. Chief, can we remove him?
Let's go.
We'll take a brief recess for remarks of Alderman. I'm going to say for the record that I wasn't for, and I know last meeting I said I was never going to vote for the change in our agenda. And listening to this evening, I had reached out to the leaders, or so-called one leader, one of the leaders, and promised that we're going to have a peaceful meeting, and only 3 Middletown people were going to speak today. That's what they promised, and obviously they did not hold to their side. I will ask tonight Mr. Massey to read the resolution that Massey and Richard prepared, or Rick,
Thank you. That's like Richard.
It's McDonald's.
and Mr. Massey prepared, and we are not going to tolerate this anymore. This is the council chamber. I'm going to request that a police officer stand outside the door, and when I say point of order, and I point the order to that person, I want that person removed. I don't care what it's a public place meeting, but this is not fair to the residents of Middletown. It's not fair to our aldermen who have to go run in that room like we're doing a drill, like this is a drill of a threat. This is done tonight, and going forward in the new year, we'll have a resolution that we are going to change our council meeting for the good of the city of Middletown. So I'll go back to Mr. Kleiner for your remarks, and then go back to Mr. Witt. Go ahead, Mr. Kleiner.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did bring up the idea, I think it was 3 meetings ago, talked about how the county did their meetings and where you address resolutions. If to begin with, but you have to sign up too to speak, and then you address anything that's a resolution, and you can sign up to speak after the meeting, but on other issues. But once the business of the meeting is done, then you could sign up to speak. But
when that resolution comes up, we want to put it down that they have to sign in, write down their address, write down whatever they want to talk about. We'll bring it up. It'll bring it up during the resolution.
Wait till I make the resolution.
Yeah, we'll see. But the other thing on the final, speaking either in the beginning or the end of the meeting, is you could not repeat what someone else had said. If the point's already been made, then you can say, I agree with that speaker, but then you sit down.
Well, I don't.
You don't get to go on and on and on about the same thing. So that's how the county's done it for many years. So I brought that up, I think, 3 meetings ago. All right. My condolences to the Sabnas family. I had heard last meeting something about that, but until it was official, that Ashok had passed. And so my condolences to Dr. Sabnas and the family. I also want to thank Aileen Gunther. She's just been a remarkable representative in New York State, no matter who the governor was. She's been there fighting for Middletown, so I congratulate her and I thank her. And I hope that Paula Kay can continue to do what Aileen has done for so many years. We went last Thursday to the Mulberry House Senior Center. They celebrated their 70th anniversary. The mayor spoke very well, and Pam Hayes was a special guest, and she spoke about the history of the senior center, but I want to thank them for that. It was a very nice celebration, and they really have expanded in their programs. It's really nice to be able to see that many people being involved and keeping active. I don't know who will like this or not, but I want to congratulate Port Jervis for being state champs in football. And it tells you that you understand why we lost the Erie Bell game this year. We lost to the best in the state. Gas prices are down again, but I haven't seen that story yet in the record. I keep looking. And basically, there was a story where Ireland had closed their embassy. Israel had closed their embassy in Dublin, in Ireland, and they said it's because Ireland had crossed every red line. I found some really sardonic humor in that, in the idea of crossing red lines. And I think that people who come here are well-intentioned, and the rewritten resolution strongly denounces the October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel by Hamas, and the loss of both Israeli and Palestinian lives. I think they're very frustrated, and this resolution, if it were passed, it says in the end of the resolution that it be sent to the president, to Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, and office of Pat Ryan. So they're trying to reach out in their way. I think they're really, I think it's really heartfelt, and they feel kind of helpless to stop what they perceive as a genocide. I know Israel dropped a bomb on Syria that actually registered on the Richter scales. It was so big. And they've done many hundreds of bombings in Syria. Well, Assad has been removed, which is really a good thing, because Syria lived under tyranny for 50 plus years. And we hope that the people find answers to their departed and missing loved ones. And but it's a desperate situation, and they think that calling for a ceasefire is the best way for them to address it. So I don't know at this point, but what happened tonight is not a good way to address it, and it does not help their cause. Otherwise, I want to wish everyone I call this the winter of our discontent, but a quote from Steinbeck and Shakespeare. But the best you can, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy New Year. And I hope to see everyone at the menorah lighting. Thank you.
Alderman Witt.
Thank you very much. They're frustrated. I mean, this was preposterous tonight, and I was ready, because they put out their little press release that I didn't say anything at the last meeting, and what I chose to do with my time was to address city issues. The 4,800 people who attended the parade, that was an awesome night, and the presentation by the Recreation Department of serving at least that many people. And I'm not going to give them a journalism lesson, all right? But this behavior that we saw tonight that ended this has been going on every single time that this happens. And I'm not giving them lessons on this, because they don't want to listen to the mayor of our city for 25 plus years, who calls them out, and they look stone-faced. President Rodriguez, 15 years in that seat, just wants him to act in a way that is professional and have some decorum and some courtesy. When the first 5 or 6 people spoke, actually it was 6, right? You could hear a pin drop in here. Mrs. Cross gets up there with a different opinion, and she's getting catcalled and has to basically clear her own path to get back to her seat over there. They're frustrated. I mean, here's my question, all right? Here's my question. You need 5 votes to have this pass, your resolution pass. And if you noticed, the people who come here, right, the community citizens or sometimes the children that they're handing this stuff off to, they're asking for a ceasefire. The leaders of this group are asking for the resolution. That's what they want. So I want to know, Jason, wherever you are when you see this, the next time you come here, do me a favor. Please, explain to us your strategy at this point that you are going to get at least 5 of us to change our minds the way this went tonight on top of everything else. Tell me, right? Tell me, what is your strategy to make the 5 of us change our mind? That's it. Make it a math problem. Forget the rest of it. But this is ridiculous. And I'm telling you this too, folks, and this is to our people in our community. I have sat here for 5 months and watched the signs and the disruption behind. We had an auditor 3 months ago come here and try to tell us what a great job, not try to tell us what a great job our city finances and the shape that our city finances were in. And people are back there waving signs. You got the mayor trying to talk to us every single week about things, and they're waving signs. And they're not even on camera, folks. So it's obviously to distract us or whatever it is. Right. So, and then you have Maria, I don't know if Maria, right? She's trying to give a presentation, and they're in that same corner over there by Alderwoman Ray, taking photos of themselves holding up this thing. This is a whole giant production, right? And when this ends, this show is going to be taken on the road somewhere else, and somebody is going to be, this is just my opinion, this is nobody else's, right? This is being taken on the road somewhere else and say, we are professional protesters. Pay us to advocate for your cause. And I might be wrong, and I'm one guy, but enough is enough of all of this. They're frustrated, I'm frustrated with all this kind of stuff. And we get blindsided because, you know, we're here, we're telling them, it's going to be good, it's going to be different, it's going to be different, it's going to be different. Guy stands next to Kate holding up a sign. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, thank you for your indulgence on that. Man, I want to thank Aileen Gunther for her time and, you know, what she did for us. And so many times we're hearing these new projects that come up, and the biggest question that we have is, how is it going to get paid for? And inevitably, the mayor or President Rodriguez are like, well, she's given us money for this, and she's given us money for that. And to see $8 million just advocated for us is amazing. So Alderman Green is sick tonight, and he wishes everybody a happy and healthy New Year and holiday season. I concur the same. Thank you for your time.
Alderman Massey.
Couple of things. Jacob, in the Department of Public Works, thank you for the great job you guys did with the snow plowing and getting the roads all cleared that quickly. Chief, in your department, thank you for making that incident tolerable. And thank you for all the work you guys do. We are lucky. We have probably some of the best department heads with Maria, Raylyn. We really do. We're very fortunate. Assemblywoman Gunther, thank you for everything that you've done for us. President Rodriguez, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I guess you got to the boiling point too, and I will be introducing a resolution later on this evening, changing the I guess it's actually called order of business, so that we won't have to, our constituents won't have to go through that during the regular meeting part. If they want to stick around at the end, that's up to them. Want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy Kwanzaa. Thank you very much.
Just to add on everybody, the frustration, I was there, I said to the chief, they're over Kate, they're trying to record over Kate. They're sitting there. Yes, it's a public meeting, but, we're gonna have to draw lines and have to have orders and rules and say you have to sit down. If you're not sitting down, you gotta stand in the back. We're gonna have rules from now on, and we're gonna make sure that they follow. It is disruptive behavior when you're putting signs up, especially when you're talking. We don't do that. We don't stand up there with a sign in their face and saying, no, we're not gonna vote for a ceasefire resolution. So again, I'm gonna request that the police be here for our next couple more meetings that we have. And if there's anybody being disruptive or their behavior is out of control, we stop the meeting and we escort them out from now on. But we're not going to allow this to anyone, and we're going to continue to do the right thing at all times. I might be a little bit stubborn and hard-headed. I don't like change, just a little. But, when I hear my constituents that live in the second ward come out, that's who I care about. Not you live in Middletown and you don't know where you live. If you say what ward you live, then I know where you are. And we represent those people. Those are the people that we represent, And again, their movement, he said lobbyist, so he's a lobbyist. He's not for the Gaza, the ceasefire. He's going on to another movement. As soon as this gets over, this is what they do, and they're trying to get in. So again, I told them, I said, you should go to Chester, you should go to Monroe, you should go to Goshen. And why don't you go there? Because it's a small little town, and if you start acting up in that little town, and your mom and dad drive through that town, and you drive through that little town, what's the first thing you do when you get to Montgomery? Say it. It's the first thing you do when you get to Montgomery. Hit the brakes. You hit the brakes. You drive 20 miles an hour. You know why you drive 20 miles an hour? Because they don't care who you are. You're out of town, you're in their town, that's who's going to clean you up. Okay? So the same thing goes for Middletown. You come in Middletown, you start acting up, we'll start acting up too. And it's simple. It's plain and simple. So you're not from Middletown. You're not representing us. Mr. Kleiner at 6:48 getting a resolution for a ceasefire it not only burns me, but it's uncalled for. We sit here, we address people. I reached out to these people many times to sit down and have talks with them and try to address them and try to do something. It's not what we want. I don't think anybody, we can go right now, we don't have the votes to even bring it up, to even pass it, to do anything. Poughkeepsie brought it up, they shot it down, and they moved on. They are no longer in Poughkeepsie. So I would do that too. Bring it up and then shoot it down. And then let them go away. Enough is enough. And I'm gonna, rules, January 7th. If you're standing, you're in the front line holding up signs, you will be removed. If you're everything else, and I hope you hear me, if you talk out of line, I'm stopping the meeting, you're getting removed. Plain and simple. You got to follow the rules. Aileen Gunther, me and her started together. We campaigned together. It's not $8 million. It's probably over 20, 50, $60 million. And when we worked together on the school project for $38 million and we built Fowler Field and we built the stadium, she was also the first person to do the wave. We were there on ground. She did the first wave for the whole crowd. I think it was like 3,200 people against Port Jervis, and we won that game. So I just want to make sure and thank her for all her services, everything she's done for the city of Middletown. It is very, very important in the city of Middletown to have somebody like Aileen in Albany, because it's not only our school tax, but it's also the revenue that we get and the help that we get for having. And I think Paula will do a great job. She'll definitely, we have her cell phone already, so we're ready to go and advocate and lobby for our city and our constituents. That's what we do. not protest and argue with people. Wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and I don't like Mr. Massey, so I'm going to say that just playing around. But we were battling since probably Sunday. We were battling back and forth, hard-headed as I am. And today, when Rick called me, he was like, "He's doing it." I said, "Okay, let him do it." I know it's going to happen, so we're going to do it, and we're going to get it done. I really don't talk a lot because...
You what?
I don't talk a lot.
You what?
But our council speaks for everybody. The hardest job as being a council president is trying to get 8 people to play nice in the sandbox, and you see that we all play fair in the sandbox. We always do what's right for Middletown. So that's all I have. And wish everybody a great holidays, and let's do the new business.
Good evening. We have a resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey to transfer $2,340 from the sewer budget to cover remote operator training.
Resolution sponsored by my friend, Mr. Massey. Do I have a second? Alderman Johnson. Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin authorizing an agreement with the Tri-State Geese Police for Canadian geese control in 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt authorizing a renewal agreement with Nearmap.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Bray. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois authorizing a $41,950 transfer within the 2024 Police Department budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing the acceptance of the RBT proposal for auditing services for fiscal year 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt authorizing a proposal from Stratagem Securities for security system upgrade citywide.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Ray authorizing the assessment collector's warrant for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner authorizing an agreement with Don Paris and RBT CPAs LLC for ARPA consulting services.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey authorizing the obligation of the remaining ARPA funds.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing a $650 transfer within the 2024 community development budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing a 2% increase for all department heads and full-time non-union employees.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Alderman Massey.
Yeah, I just want people to know I will be voting on this because I am not included in this. When we had the Board of Estimate, I could not vote on it, and there was only one other person, so I just want you to know I will be voting on it, but I'm not included in it.
Okay, anyone else? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Well-deserved, aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin authorizing an agreement with PERMA for workers' compensation for contract for 2025.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderwoman Ray. It's a resolution and notice of determination of non-significance pursuant to 6 NYCRR as it relates to zoning change adopting a minimum square footage for all new single-family dwellings.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Ray, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. That's it
The
for
motion for 275, do we have to table? Can I get a motion to table that resolution? Alderman Kleiner,
All right.
and seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion on the table? All right, roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Thank you.
Audit?
I have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
okay. All right. I hope I did this right. I want to sponsor the following resolution to amend the Middletown City Code, Section 30-1, Order of Business as follows. Letter E, for the good of the city, to now include the words agenda items only. Second, to add the following. Letter N, to now become a second for the good of the city opportunity. And letter O becomes audit of claims and accounts, and letter P is adjournment.
Motion by Alderman Massey, second by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Alderman Johnson?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I never want to be accused of being too subtle. The Gaza gang are the squirrels, just so we all understand that. They are the nuisance, and I think they've actually graduated to being classified as thugs this evening.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, I described them as self-righteous, condescending, and disingenuous. In the interest of maintaining my SAT prep course, I would like to say I now find them to be self-aggrandizing. Definition, acting or intended to enhance one's power, wealth, position, or reputation. I also find them to be manipulative. Definition, characterized by unscrupulous control of a situation or a person. Now, the Pied Piper thing, I hope you got that. I don't have to explain the Pied Piper part, right? That's okay. So, once again, I'm a Gemini, I'm old, I'm stubborn. I do not want to be bullied, strong-armed, or appease, oh, that's a good word, to appease the thugs. But now they push us over the edge. I did not want to be forced to change my behavior and my goals as an alderman on this council to accommodate their intimidation tactics. But fortunately for me, they pushed everybody's button over the top, and in good conscience, I can say, out damn spot. Thank you. That was Shakespeare, in case you didn't know that.
Alderman Tobin?
I wholeheartedly agree and support the motion. We don't want this business meeting to become a circus like we've seen in some school boards throughout the state where people are yelling and screaming from the crowd at people. We're trying to conduct our business. And we see that the leaders don't have control of their people. They're supposed to only have 3 people. They had 7. They tell them to stop yelling. They're hurling insults at people. Anybody that doesn't agree with them, they're attacking. And what was said about Alderman Ray's children was disgusting tonight. And, we get into public service to help our neighbors, our friends, and our community, not to be subjected to these people, attacking us and insulting our children. It's just disgusting. So I wholeheartedly support the resolution.
Miguel.
Alderman Massey?
I just wanted everyone to know this is not the first time the council has done something like this on this specific section. Back on May 23rd, 1966, February 28th, 2011, March 28th, 2011, and July 7th, 2020. This section has been amended, so we're not doing something for the first time. It's been done before. Thank you very much, and I hope we'll all support it.
I'm good.
You good?
I'm
Kleiner?
Thank you. I think this has worked very well for the county for many years, so. And I used to go to a lot of the county meetings back before you had to get frisked to go in, and, a lot of things changed. But it always seemed to work well there, and so that's why I brought it up. So thank you, Mr. Massey. Alderman Massey for writing it.
All right, roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Audit?
Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, second by Alderman Johnson. Roll.
Tobin.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Turn.
Move second.